Don't forget the Avenida man there, man.
Oh, sorry, man.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry. You know, it's the shape of Cusco back in the old days, when before Cusco was colonized. But after 8 years, your knee needs a rest.
Yeah, dude.
So, and then I just didn't want to do that, and then I became a stripper. But
Nice.
now I also do
What was your stripper name?
Tupac.
Tupac. mine was Black and Mal.
There you go, man. I like that.
What's good? What's good? Yeah, welcome back to the channel. Just like that. Today we're in Cusco. We've been here for like a few hours. Checked in our hostel. I'm gonna show you the hostel too. It's very nice. The view from there is crazy. But right now we're doing a city walk tour. Yeah, so we're gonna learn a little bit about the city from this good man right here. Say what's up, buddy. Like, yo, you gonna show us some love too, or what?
No.
His boy's like, you gonna show us love too?
Yeah, we have some Dutch here. We got some Americans from Colorado, and you're also from England,
UK.
in the UK. And what about you, sir?
Switzerland.
Oh, Switzerland. Herzlich willkommen.
Don't forget the Avenida man there, man.
Oh, sorry, man.
Yeah,
I'm so
let's pick up
sorry.
the
You know, at the beginning you said that you were from Colorado, and then you told me from Jamaica, so my mind was thinking that you were all from Colorado. I apologize.
Nah,
for
you
that.
good, bro.
But I'm actually from the Amazon. Was born and raised in the jungle of Peru. 1984, I was born. And the area where I grew up was really, really crazy because there was a lot of production of cocaine, you know. But my parents, they had to move when I was 9 years old to the city. And from that moment, you know, pretty much changed my destiny. I'm really glad to be living in Cusco. I live here for 17 years. I became a professional tour guide. I did mountain hikes for like almost 8 years. But after 8 years, your knee needs a rest.
Yeah, dude.
So, and then I just didn't want to do that, and then I became a stripper. But
Nice.
now I also do
What was your stripper name?
Tupac.
Tupac. mine was Black and Mal.
There you go, man. I like that. I like that. But guys, you know, on the walking tour today, we are going to be focused on our amazing history, you know, regarding our indigenous people, and also what is today Cusco in current days. Also, I'll give you recommendations of maybe visit the local markets. I have two local markets that I always like to suggest. One of them is San Pedro, but the best place to eat is San Blas. San Blas neighborhood, man. You can get like juices for a big glass of blender for $6, right, guys? But let me tell you that all these mountains, all this belongs to the city of Cusco. Then we have a population a bit more than 500,000 people. 70% of the local people rely on tourism. The country eating quinoa became a trend. You eat quinoa and you do yoga. And then you eat avocado and then you meditate, right?
Yeah.
That's the way it's just the way it is. But you know, the Inca people is like people who live here for thousands of years. Why I say thousands is because, you know, according to the historical, you know, research, they say that people here in South America are descendants from people from Mongolia. We have Asian descendants. Wow. When we are born, or when we are babies, the babies are born with a mark on the lower part over here, and that's called the Mongolian blue spot. See,
Yeah.
No, we do.
That's funny. Tupac's mom named him for the same reason how he was named.
What?
There was in Peru. There was a warrior named Tupac Amaru.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay, look, this little arrow, and it's like showing us an animal shape. It's the shape of Cusco back in the old days, when before Cusco was colonized. Our ancestors, Quechuas, or in this case sometimes we call them Incas, they designed the city in the shape of a puma. Yes. So this mountain right here is the mountain on the back. It's called Sexy Man. Some people call it Sexy Woman because it's hard to pronounce. But where we are right now, this is an ancient Inca trail. That this trail was going to Chinchaysuyo. It's pointing that way. What was Chinchaysuyo? Chinchaysuyo was a region. It was the region in the deserts all the way to Colombia. So there was an Inca trail connecting from Cusco or from Colombia all the way here. There was an Inca trail from Cusco all the way to 3 hours down of Santiago de Chile. It's craziness. Yeah, there was another trail connecting to the Amazon, to the jungle, to Manu National Park, and there was another trail going to all the way to Arequipa, to the coastlines of Arequipa, and Moquegua, and Tacna, you know. So that was a big 4 regions, but Cusco was the city in the shape of a puma because they believed that the puma was the strongest animal in their environment, so that has to be the capital. So it actually represents the power back in the days, you know. Where the streets where we are located now is called Calle de la Conquista, you know. By the way, my Spanish is really good, and I know that conquista means the conquest. And when the Spanish came here, they say that they walked through this street when they conquered Cusco. And from that day, they decided to call this La Calle de la Conquista. You know, and but look at this one right here, guys. Original Inca, very ancient, like 500 or 600 years ago. You know, so this was the first street probably when they walked and they found Cusco in the main plaza. Around the main plaza is where they had a lot of the, you know, temples and shrines back in the old days. You know, I was telling here the boys that the indigenous language is called Quechua. Quechua is the 3rd most spoken language in South America, after the Spanish and Portuguese. But also through the years, in South America, we also have some other European languages. Señora, buenas. By the way, there is a baby sleeping in the back, okay? Baby on board.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and actually that's the most comfortable position to have a baby. When they try to wake up, mom just wiggle, and the baby goes back to sleep.
This street is nothing but restaurants. There's some travel places, some markets. It's got everything what you need if you're hungry. Just want to explore, do some shopping.
Tell me which system you prefer.
Massage
Peruvians and Bolivians, we are so similar. Yeah, so similar. And they are represented with a flag. This flag is very colorful, with the squares. Yeah, this flag, the square flag is called Huipala. But we also have a flag that will represent the indigenous people, but it looks like stripes. It looks the rainbow flag, you know. A lot of people get confused and they think, oh, Cusco is very gay, you know. And I'm like, I mean, we are very open, but this will represent the indigenous people, Quechuas, Aymaras, and the rest. Also, guys, if you walk from this corner, and it only will take you like 20 Peruvian minutes, okay, so about 40. You guys can get to the highest point of Cusco. You can see the statue of Jesus over there. Cristo Blanco, we call it. And then to the left is this beautiful place that is Sacsay Woman, sexy woman. And why, guys, you should go there? Because Sacsay Woman is a megalithic pre-Hispanic center, like this. I don't want to spoil it, but some of these stones weigh like over 200 tons. Yes, some of them weigh like 50, 80 tons. And the question always stays like, how the Incas moved those stones? Sometimes people, they say, oh, aliens, right? I don't know about that, but I would say, guys, everything is possible if you chew coca leaves. Like I told you before, Cusco was designed in the shape of a puma, and that mountain is that one over there, where you can see the cross. Please guys, feel free to visit one afternoon to see the sunset. But I will also recommend you, if you walk from that corner to the right, but when you chew properly, you have to mix it with an alkalizer that is called gypta. In Colombia, they use conch shells and they put it together. In Peru, we use baking soda. Guys, I don't have my coffee leaf. That is the main cathedral that today has the, the painting of the Last Supper of Jesus. Because, we celebrated last week, it was the Easter holidays. But during the Easter holidays in Cusco, because Cusco is 90% of the locals are very Catholic, we do a lot of masses, processions and etc. But one of the most beautiful things is that during the colonizing times, the Incas painted a huge representation of the Last Supper, where in the center of the table, the Last Supper is a guinea pig. Yeah, Jesus is eating a guinea pig and it's located inside. I want to tell you about this guy. Who is this guy on the top? We say that he's pointing to Jesus. He's like saying, like, Jesus, what's up? What's going on?
Is that?
He is the Inca number 9. His name is Pachacutec. Pachacutec is the number 9 that he unified all the tribes. And for the 1438 until 1532, he started the expansion. His kid and his grandchild took over control and expanded in South America in less than 100 years. But Pachacutec is the guy who built Machu Picchu as well. All right, guys? So he's the man. Yeah. So he's the man. He will be like the Alexander the Great in South America, if that makes sense, right?
What's his name again?
Pachacutec. Or the way how I want to explain is how the indigenous people moved from the Lake Titicaca and came to Cusco is because they were looking for the promised land that it was promised by one god, according to our myth. That Inca god is called Apu Kontiki Texi Wiracocha Pachayachachi Runakamak. The shortest version is Wiracocha. See that, and they arrived here on the 1200s. That is when Manco Cápac came with his group from the Lake Titicaca. Then after Manco Cápac, there were 8 generations, like Sinchi Roca, Maita Cápac, Cápac Yupanqui, and Yahuarahuacac, and etc. Until Pachacutec was able to fight the enemies of Cusco. And after that victory, everybody said that you are going to be our leader. And he changed his name. His name was, according to the history, his name was Inca Tupac Yupanqui, and then he called himself Pachacutec. From that moment, Pachacutec became the most important leader and expanded to Machu Picchu, built Machu Picchu, and built Cusco in the shape of a puma. And then he took over control, and his name is Tupac. In 14 years, when they came, they have contact with the Mayas and the Aztecs. The Spanish brought an invisible enemies that killed millions of people. That invisible enemy was the disease, the smallpox. We believe that the population here in South America was between 10 to 15 million. In less than 100 years, it reduced to 500,000. History of human beings looks like it's the Game of Thrones. I'm gonna speak my language. My language is better than yours. Blah blah blah. They need to drink ayahuasca. Sure. This is the graveyard of Tupac, the original Tupac. The other Tupac is from California, West Side. The 18th of May or 1781, after 200 years of colonization, there were 2 revolutions. The first one was in the 1536, and the biggest one was actually at that time, 1781, when Jose Gabriel Tupac Amaru and his wife Micaela Bastidas Puyucawa, Francisco Tupac, Hipólito Tupac. There were many people who were called Tupac. But Jose Gabriel was the second one that he went really hard against the Spanish crown, and he was the leader. They captured him after a few months of revolution, and they judged him and they killed him here in the main plaza. He was attached to 4 horses.
Oh man.
And that was
Like
the
they did in
Mongolian
slavery.
torture. To decapitate and to quarter his body. They did so, and his legs were widespread through the Andes. His head went to La Paz in Bolivia to tell them, if you do a revolution, this is the way how you're going to die. But Tupac, before that happened, he said, you will kill me today, but tomorrow we will be thousands, so you can't kill us. And that is written in the Peruvian memories still today. Y no podrán matarnos. You can't kill us. So Tupac became a legend in South America, became a legend even in North America, guys, you know, with a group of the Black Panthers. There was a lady there, her name was called Afeni Shakur. she was in jail for a period of time, and then she knew about the history of Tupac. She was pregnant apparently, and when she didn't know what was going to happen, right? But 1 month and 3 days before the baby was born, she was released out of jail, and when she had the baby, she decided to call him Tupac Amaru Shakur. That's where the name Tupac, the rapper, comes from. From
Yeah,
those
he got it
rebels
from-
back in the days.
Exactly.
Tupac, West Side. You know, a long time ago, there were many people that they were called Tupacs
It's
as
warrior
well.
blood, man.
And then back in the 1980s, there was a group of terrorists that they called themselves Tupac. So in Peru, until 1990s, 2000s, it was very hard to mention that name
Yeah.
because it was demonized.
Oh man.
But at the beginning, it didn't have that name. Also, guys, this is the most beautiful church in Cusco. Well, this is the most beautiful facade of all the churches we have. We have 16 churches in the city. That is the main cathedral, and this is the temple of the Jesuits. The Jesuits were a group of soldiers that they always gave the power to the Catholic Church. And also, this church is known as the indigenous church, because a long time ago, the Mass was going to be only for the Spanish or criollos, the kids of Spanish, in the cathedral. The indigenous people, they have to be Christianized and to accept religion, Christian as the first religion, and they will change their names. So the names was not any longer like Tupac or Condor or whatever name was. It was Marco, Jose, Gabriel, or whatever name that was in the Christian. But before they became a Christianity, they have to learn, and they have the father or the priest, they have to preach in Quechua from the balconies.